Here now with more, Ainsley Earhardt, Fox and Friends co-host and author of The Light Within Me, Mike Gonzelman, host of The Guns Show, and Kat Timpf, Fox News contributor. I said cheerleading rejects all. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You tried to be a cheerleader, right,
Year
Mike?
after year, for some reason, it didn't work. And I didn't even have to have a psycho mother freaking out about it.
Yeah, right? I mean, don't you
Unreal.
feel bad for this kid whose mother, you know, raised holy hell and was like, you know, everybody's got to be on the team.
It's kind of funny. I mean, congratulations to this mom, because now your daughter has no friends whatsoever.
know.
Literally no
Gosh.
friends. You talk about Mean Girls. She will see Mean Girls in action, because this mother taking things to a whole different level and absolutely being crazy about it. Obviously, you have like the entitlement society side of it, like, oh, we all expect things to be handed to us.
Yeah, this is not
especially
helpful,
kids.
Mom. This
No,
does not help
at
you in
all.
life.
I'll
Ainsley, what
tell
do you
you,
think?
I was a cheerleader in 7th grade.
Yeah.
8th grade, I tried out, and I was cut from the team. Brokenhearted, cried, so upset. My dad comes upstairs. He sits down on my bed, and he says, someone else needed that spot. You're strong enough. God created you to be strong enough. You're giving up your spot so another girl who might not be strong enough can take it. That was such a valuable lesson.
And you
I'm
said,
still
no,
talking
Dad,
about it.
I want the spot. And you
Actually-
marched in and got it for you.
Actually, I thought, wow, my dad totally turned it around and spun it where I bought into that.
Right.
And,
No, it was
but
good. That was smart.
It was a good lesson.
You're okay, and you're somehow okay now.
Yeah, right.
You somehow managed to recover.
It's all because I got cut from the cheerleading
Yeah,
squad.
Exactly.
I was cut from the cheerleading squad, and I was so bad that I really had some nerve to even waste anyone's
Me too.
time by
Me
trying
too.
out whatsoever. But I just instead joined the mock trial team and had some
There you go.
success there, and
Yeah.
actually was able to pursue an activity I was good at, rather than allowing myself to embarrass myself by somersaulting around the football field because I couldn't even do a cartwheel. That wouldn't have been good
It's
for
like
anyone.
watching American Idol where those kids are so bad and you're like,
Yeah, the
your
audition.
parents
Oh,
are telling
right here,
you,
that
like,
was me.
you're
Here's
not
my
good.
story. I was a cheerleader for like a long time, middle school, all through high school. And when I had my daughter, I hid my cheerleading pictures.
Really?
Because I knew that if she saw it, she'd be like, oh, I want to be a cheerleader. And I didn't want her to be a cheerleader. I wanted her to be on mock trial, which she did end up doing. And she became an athlete and a soccer player and all this cool stuff. Because honestly, I think they should do away with cheerleading. I'm with the head of the board.
Really?
Cheerleading is like you stand on the sidelines and you cheer for someone else. It's like get out there and do it yourself. And you know who needs
But you learn to dance. I wanted to learn to
well,
dance.
I'm still
is
trying to
great,
learn to
you know,
dance,
but
so.
it's just, to me, it's like this whole, I always feel bad for the cheerleaders because when I was a cheerleader, I actually thought people were watching our routine. They're not watching your routine.
Yeah, the cheers,
They're watching
newsflash.
football. They're watching basketball. And it's like, oh, that was such a good one. We did such a good job, like patting each other on the back.
But
no one's paying any attention.
even from a story of failure, obviously we're all going to fail in life. But Michael Jordan got cut from his freshman high school basketball team.
that's true.
Failure makes you a better
And it's
person.
Michael Jordan, the
no doubt
greatest
about it.
player of all time. Like, he got through it. I mean, it just makes you stronger and
I know.
better.
Right, and inclusiveness is great, but it doesn't change reality, right? Just because they allow everyone to make the cheerleading team, that shouldn't make you feel any better about yourself, because you're still a bad cheerleader. They're just letting everybody in now.
Do you think one day they're going to look back at these videos, though, and say, I was crying and pleading?
Of course they are, which
Like,
is
I'm
why
so
they should be
embarrassed.
playing soccer or basketball,
There you
because
go.
then they'll feel good about it. They'll feel so much better about themselves. All right, so Ainsley is going to cover the royal wedding, and you're leaving tonight.
I'm leaving tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night is that's so exciting. You're gonna have the best
You'll
time.
have to give me tips,
So
'cause this
yeah,
is
it's a
your
lot of
animal. You
fun.
love this,
I
yeah.
did the last one, but poor Meghan Markle, her father. Apparently paid the paparazzi to take pictures of him getting measured for his tuxedo and looking in a computer screen at Starbucks. So there he is, poor Mr. Markle.
He looks well.
And he was looking at pictures of Meghan and Harry online and everything, and it turned out that there was like a paparazzi deal that he might have even made some
Shady.
money off of, and now he's not going to the wedding.
Yeah, you don't need that kind of drama on your wedding day. She's probably got enough drama having such a famous wedding. And to have your dad do something like that, I would be so mad at my dad. Absolutely.
It's a lack of trust already. You know what I mean? From the beginning, from the onset, with the most famous couple in the world right now. I'm just very depressed still and devastated that I don't have a chance with Meghan Markle anymore. Personally.
And what about Harry? All those girls. When we did William's wedding, it said they gave out these little pens and combs and things that said, "Don't worry, you can still marry Harry." Because William was gone.
Oh, right.
But you've got a story now. This is going to be very interesting to watch
I feel
what happens.
sorry for her. I do. I mean, I'm happy for her because she has the ultimate Cinderella story, and it's amazing what she's been through and how far she's come. And every book I've read about her and every article I've read, she was a hard worker, and she really deserves this. And she's seems to be a good person.
She's lovely, yeah.
Yeah, but her dad to do this, her brother was sending messages to Harry, don't do it.
her
Do you know?
alone.
Exactly. And I feel like this is the Cinderella story because she has a family. The dad is trying to make money, or his friend who's the photographer is making money. They couldn't find the tailor. The tailor was closed. So they went up to some kid and they said, will you act like you're the tailor?
He gave him a measuring tape and said,
shady.
But you know what? I have
Also, doesn't
I have
anything
some
better to
advice
do with
for
his
them.
time?
Her mother should walk her down the aisle.
Yeah.
Okay? This is an easy problem to solve. Her mother is lovely. She's going to be there, and she should walk her down the aisle. So anyway, this is so much fun. It's great to have you guys
absolutely.
here.
Thank you.
Have a
It's very
fantastic
cool. Have fun.
time in
you.
Jolly Old
Put in a
London.
good word
It's
for
gonna
me
be
with Megan, all right?
In the latest installment of What Happened in an Election That Occurred a Year and a Half Ago, Michelle Obama was asked how Trump won, and she laid the blame on Hillary. Just kidding, she blamed sexism from women against women.
In light of this last election, I'm concerned about us as women and how we think. If we're not comfortable with the notion that a woman could be our president, compared to what? You know, we have to have that conversation with ourselves as women.
Maybe so, but her analysis seems a symptom of a greater problem that contributed to her party's loss. It goes back to seeing the group and not the person. I call it IPB, identity politics blindness. They lost not because Hillary was a woman. They lost because all they saw was a woman. Meanwhile, Trump took nothing for granted. Fact is, many voters would have happily voted for a woman, just not that one. Because unlike Trump, she didn't speak to their concerns. She only spoke of her entitlement. She just assumed that she had the vote. And just assuming a woman must vote for a woman seems pretty insulting from a man. Humans are more complex, surprising, and interesting than liberals give them credit for. But more than anything, Trump's election is a lesson in effort. At least he showed up. He fought. Hillary didn't. If Democrats learn from that, then they can win. But if they continue to dwell in this narrow-minded, intolerant universe where all people sit in their own identity buckets, where their behavior is fixed forever by sex or race, they will lose. And then what group will they blame next? What do you think, Kimberly? Do you think that Michelle Obama would feel differently if she were a left-wing woman? It's not really about gender.
No, I don't think it's really about gender. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's about the candidate. It's about people making a choice based on the qualifications, the merit of the candidacy, and what you saw during this past election, that people related. The working men and women across the country felt that this was a movement they wanted to be part of the Trump campaign and the movement across the country to let the blue-collar workers, families, middle class not be left behind. Now, if a fantastic female candidate who went out there and campaigned and hit all the spots you were supposed to, actually spoke to the people in that way, I 100% believe they could prevail. Perhaps someday Michelle Obama will run for office. I think she would do quite well. Or if Oprah Winfrey ran for office, she would probably do quite well. So it really is just like a measure of what you have to offer, what's going on in the country at the time, how you speak to the issues. And Hillary has given quite a few excuses as to why she did not prevail in the campaign. And one of the latest that we discussed on this show was she said that she felt that people thought she was a capitalist, they didn't relate to her. Well, perhaps that's the case. She did not make the case to the everyday man and woman effectively or persuasively enough to get them to choose her.
Dana, thoughts as a woman, not as a human being, but as a woman, because all we see are...
Let me out of my bucket.
Yes. You can't see out of it.
I think there's an interesting debate about demographics going on right now on Twitter. But basically saying that, you know, for a long time, demographers have been saying, look, the country is changing and the Democrats are going to run away with this if the Republicans don't figure this out. And it's been going on for like 26 years and it hasn't happened. Maybe it will happen in the future. But at the same time, the sand is shifting beneath the Democrats' feet. And there is a new coalition that was built in 2016. And I don't see what the Democrats are doing to try to win back the blue-collar workers. We have a segment coming up in the E-Block talking about economics, which is something really that is pretty quite remarkable what the left is coming up with when it comes to talking about capitalism or not. But the other thing is, I would say the Republicans are probably not doing enough yet to figure out how to keep that coalition in their corner.
Now, Juan, we always get into this little tiff. I say humans are more complex and interesting than identity politics would supply. And you say, but we do the same thing, or the Republicans do the same thing.
Oh, I think we're in an era of white identity politics as represented by President Trump that we've never seen like in this country. But anyway, I want to come to this point that I think that what Michelle Obama said really appeals to the basis of your argument, Greg, because she said this was about credentials, that, you know, clearly we had the better credentialed experience in terms of preparing to be president candidate, and look what you guys elected. You guys someone who has no experience, who's chaotic, impulsive, and all the rest. So, and remember, you got 52% of white women who voted for Trump, and she's saying, why is that? And previously, you know, Mrs. Obama has said, you know, you can't wait for the next person to save you. You got to do it yourself. And women who are voting against women because they're a woman or don't trust a woman, there's something negative in there.
You guys are making this way too complex. President Obama left very popular, but his policies weren't. For 8 years, people were frustrated. He wasn't tapped in. People weren't motivated. All he did was gradually lose the entire party and not fund the DNC and build himself up. People like him. They didn't like his administration. They didn't like the way it was executed. Nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. If you put Tulsi Gabbard against Nikki Haley, it's game on. It's someone who's a veteran that understands people, that has a lot to offer, be something totally different. She did not lose because she was a woman. She didn't get a vote because she was a woman. By the end of it was two candidates, and they took the person that they thought would be the most dramatically different from President Obama, and they got it.